Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Richard Commey, his career, he's never been an easy touch for anyone. He came into his fight with Jose Ramirez with 30 wins, 4 defeats, 1 draw. The draw was in his last fight to Jose Pedraza, 10-round split draw. And the only time he's been stopped was in 2 rounds by Teofimo Lopez. Real sharp shooting performance from Lopez when he was at his absolute best. That was down at lightweight, of course. Commey is the former IBF lightweight title holder and lost that belt to Lopez, having won it by 8-round stoppage over Ray Beltran. But of course, we're going back a few years. Commey is now 36, orthodox fighter from Ghana, but he's still going to give anyone a good argument because he was on the floor in round 7 against Lomachenko, got up and went the distance. That was in 2021. The draw with Pedraza in 2022. Sometimes when you get older, you can preserve your body by fighting less, even though you may still be fighting high-level opposition. If you fight less, you can sort of drag your career out a bit, and that seems to be what Commey has done. Now, Jose Ramirez he lost to Josh Taylor for all the marbles, all 4 belts. That was in 2021. Got floored twice in round 6 and 7. He's come back with a victory over Jose Pedraza. That was a unanimous decision. Comfortable win. But that's his only fight since Taylor. And he turned down the opportunity, I think it was to fight Regis Prograis. People were saying, well, what are you turning that down for? I think was his wife having a kid, or he was getting married or something like that. There was some family issue. But maybe he's playing the long game because Taylor is the only man to defeat Ramirez. And Ramirez is probably thinking, well, you know what? If you're staying at 140, which he is, which Taylor apparently is, despite the fact he said he couldn't make 140 again. If you're staying at 140, I'm coming for you because you're the only man to beat me. And also, of course, Catterall beat Taylor, not according to the 2 of the judges, but we all know Catterall beat Taylor. So Taylor's looking vulnerable. And Taylor's, getting up there in age as well. So this was an interesting fight. He didn't need any slip-ups, Ramirez. But he knew he had his hands full with Commey because everyone always does. And that might be why in the opening round, he came out like a steam train. He was thundering towards Commey, got him in the corner and just let this barrage of punches go, almost like he was trying to do him in a round. And you're thinking, well, this is a 12-round fight. What's he doing? He can't keep this up. And sure enough, he couldn't keep it up. Although there's nothing wrong with his engine at all, Ramirez. But he tried to take Commey by surprise. Commey, to his credit, 36 years of age with all that experience, he was quite happy in the corner and on the ropes, and he was countering, covering up, soaking up the punches. And at no point in the whole fight did he seem bothered by being on the ropes or fighting off the ropes or being in a corner. It's almost like he thought, this Ramirez ain't got anything he can show me, really. And so even though Commey, by the 3rd round, Commey had started to find a little bit of rhythm because Ramirez had understandably taken his foot off the gas a little bit. And then Commey, when it was in centre ring, Commey was able to find a bit of rhythm. But probably at 36, his output isn't what it was. And he wasn't able to consistently fire those punches in clusters that he used to in the past. He was doing it occasionally, but not often. Now, the pattern of this fight was Ramirez going forward, Ramirez doing most of the work, Commey making the rounds very competitive, but not winning many of them. I really think Ramirez, I can't remember whether I gave Commey maybe 2 rounds. And they were quite close. But Ramirez was winning the rounds, and Commey was landing some half-decent punches, but I just felt that the sheer industry and the sheer sort of proactive forward motion of Ramirez was edging him the rounds. You know what I mean? It's like one of those fights where you see the scorecard and you think, well, that's a wide fight. That looks one-sided, but it doesn't really tell the whole story because a lot of the rounds were competitive with one guy, not just hanging tough, but able to land his own punches in specific rounds. I just don't feel that Commey did enough for most of the rounds to win them. But until the end, it didn't look like he was getting hurt until the end did come, because in the 11th round, Ramirez finally really badly hurt Commey. It was an uppercut. Commey sort of fell in. There was an uppercut which snapped Commey back, and he sort of rolled. I think was there a right hand that seemed to miss, maybe a forearm smash, but it was definitely the left uppercut that hurt Commey. And he was probably already on his way down. He rolled back and sort of collapsed. They were more or less centre ring. He rolled over and then was sort of stretched out by the ropes. Got up, badly hurt. Well, actually, I say badly hurt. I think it was just a case of the attritional wear and tear that had been throughout the previous 10.5 rounds. But obviously that the uppercut did hurt him enough to put him over. When he got up, his eyes looked okay. But of course, Ramirez smelt blood, chased after Commey, and then Ramirez did something really intelligent, because Commey backed to the ropes where he'd been quite comfortable throughout most of the previous rounds. And Ramirez, instead of concentrating on the head, he did fire a couple of punches at the head, but he banged in a beautiful left hook to the body, which had Commey retreating along the ropes and facing sort of out into the ring with Ramirez still near the corner. And then as Ramirez moved in, Commey took a knee and he actually sat out the count. He had a sort of almost embarrassed smile on his face, but he'd been hurt to the body. And he probably, to this moment, I'm thinking, could he have gotten up? He probably could have done. But I'm convinced that it was just the wear and tear of those previous 10 rounds that did him in and made him think, oh, do you know what? I'm so far behind on points. I'm hurting. I can't be arsed anymore. It was almost like Eric Morales sitting it out against Pacquiao in their third fight. I think it was just the sheer attritional war that gradually ground out the resistance from Commey. And Ramirez was very, very emotional afterwards, crying, and and it's a great win for him. Great to stop Commey, to be only the second man to stop Commey is a great achievement. So Ramirez moves on. For Commey, does retirement beckon? I'd like to see him retire now. He slips to 30 wins, very high knockout ratio, 27 knockouts and 5 defeats, 1 draw. Of the 5 defeats, 2 are by stoppage. But Ramirez at 30 is going to make a move now for those belts. He's got to. If he can't get Taylor, he's got to go after Prograis. He's 28 wins now, 18 KOs, 1 defeat. The only defeat being to Taylor. And he's good. He's just a very, very good pressure fighter. So what did you think of this fight? Leave your comments below. I always say this, but leave them below because I do like reading them. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the like button. Please do it. You're helping the channel out a great deal if you hit that subscribe button and the like button. And as always, thanks for your time. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. We've had some good boxing this weekend on both sides of the Atlantic. See you soon. Bye for now.